We are back. Excuse me. Sorry, I was in the middle of a conversation with Dalit talking about. Oh, oops. When I was. You're totally right. God, I am all over the place. I'm sorry. We were mid-conversation talking about Lady Gaga and obsessing over the kind of human being that she is. And also talking about Panic at the Disco, of whom is both of one of our favorite artists. And we were just talking about his newest album. Is it the name is Pray for the Wicked, the newest album, right?
That's their tour also.
You know, the album at first I wasn't a huge fan of it, but it's starting to grow on me. Like Say Amen and Saturday Night is a really good track. High Hopes is great.
Of course.
I can't.
Like Hey Look Ma, I Made It.
Yeah, Hey Look Ma, I Made It. I really
love that one. I'm like in my room like, Hey Look Ma, I Made It.
Yeah, it's a great track. But if I had to pick a favorite Panic at the Disco album, I would probably say, I'd say Death of a Bachelor.
I think I would say Vices and Virtues.
Vices and Virtues is a great album.
Oh my god.
Vices and Virtues is such a great album.
And Too Rare to Live Too... Is it
Too Rare to Live, Too Young to Die?
Yeah, to die, yeah.
Yeah, that one's a great album, too.
I mean...
This Is Gospel, Vegas Lights, Casual Affair, Miss Jackson.
Oh my god. Colorful. Colorful. Trade Mistakes. I love Trade Mistakes, Nearly Witches. We talked about this one, Nearly Witches. We talked about it.
Yeah. Wait, no, Golden Days and Impossible Years on Bachelor. What's the last track that's on Too Rare to Live, Too Young to Die?
The End of All Things.
End of All Things.
Yeah,
that one's a really
crazy.
good song.
Yeah, that one I feel like it's very dark for me. I don't like listening to it so much because it's just like very, I don't know why. I actually feel it very like in my heart, and it's very like depressing.
It's a very emotional, powerful
song.
It's so pretty though.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it is very pretty. Like, I definitely have to be in the mood to listen to it because it's too, like...
sometimes it'll, like, be a little tearjerker for me.
Yeah, like, I'll be walking to class and then just start crying and not know why.
It's okay. Trust me, you're not alone on that. There's so often where I'm, like, listening to music and I just, like, can't help but, like, sit there and, like, feel, like, a very strong sense of emotion, like, overcoming me when I'm hearing that, like, piece of music. Like, especially... surprisingly with Love of My Life, even though it's an old song, like there are times when I listen to that song and I'm just like nearly
Queen
on the verge of tears.
You. That's how it is.
It does, and it's not fair. Freddie, why did you do this to us?
Well, he like left a piece of himself, you know, and it's like you feel him when you listen to his music, which is something I love about him.
You can sense it in his voice because not only was he was a singer, but he was a showman.
Yeah.
He was all about like providing art and providing music to the people that were listening, and he always like tried to engage audiences, and that's, you know, one of the highlights of Freddie was that he would always like play with the crowd, and he would always like, you know, sing a line and then he'd have the crowd sing it back. Ayo. Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, actually, to go back a little, like that's kind of the reason why I want to do music, to like, because when you listen to someone and you can really feel their presence and like feel their feelings and emotions, because that's what music is. You like put your emotions onto a song and like you write the lyrics that come from your heart, you know what I mean?
Right.
So for me, it's like that's kind of why I want to do music, because when I'm not here and there's all this music that I wrote and that I like, I mean, made out there and it represents my soul and my heart, like I think that's what I want to leave, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think that it's such a special thing to leave. It's like, it's kind of leaving a piece of yourself, and not just leave, but when I'm here, if
when
my
you're here,
family,
you can connect with people.
Exactly.
Of whom
if my
you're
family's at home and they're like, I miss
Dalit,
they can listen to one of my songs and then be like, oh, that's how I felt also at this time, or that's how we felt when we were together when we did this. You know what I mean? Like, it's real emotions.
What inspired this passion for you? Like, what inspired you to like want to feel as if like your audience is connecting with you and your music?
Well, I just feel like, first of all, I feel like communication is like the superpower that everyone possesses that they don't necessarily use at all times. I've learned like through my life that communicating is like one of the most important things in the world, and it's the reason we're human and the reason that like interactions are so like important, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for me, I feel like a lot of the music nowadays and a lot of the culture nowadays and like hip hop culture and all that stuff, like it's gone through a weird path, and like people are learning to do things and be things that aren't necessarily like true to themselves and stuff like that. So I think that
Cardi B.
What'd you say, Cardi B?
Yeah.
Okay, I like Cardi B a little bit.
Cardi B, don't
no,
you?
Don't love, but like I think that some of her songs like just get you going. Like they're just fun, you know. There are
some songs
people,
are very hype, but
yeah,
I do.
No,
agree.
but then other things are like no.
it's not true to herself. And
Yeah.
I definitely agree with you that a lot of musicians nowadays have a tendency to like not necessarily be true to themselves and kind of like
and go with the flow and write
and-
for what people like necessarily like what society wants to hear and stuff like that. But I really do think that there's like a thirst inside of a lot of people that isn't being quenched, and that's like the emotional connection with other people and like what about, I mean, so many people are watching other people doing amazing things and all this stuff, and they're depressed in their house because they don't have someone that can connect to who they really are or
they
how
look
they really
at them
feel.
and they see
They look
this
at that.
huge success, but
Exactly.
they can't even find that in themselves.
So for me, what inspired like the way that I write lyrics or the way that I write my songs is the fact that I want those types of people to be like, oh, like people also feel the way I feel, or like, you know, I want to reach like a different crowd of people that are sick of listening to all that like bad words, like trash people, like, you know what I mean? Like,
I got the Molly. Woo! I got the crash.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like those things are fun to listen to, but after a while, like you feel brain dead listening to all those
Not
things.
only that, but sometimes you just want to hear a song that, like, you know, not every song you're gonna feel like, you know, partying it up and turning up to. Sometimes
you
want
something
to
that
have
evokes feelings. in you and
yeah,
all that.
you want to feel like, you know, there's somebody that is like going through the same shit that you are, and that's the beauty of music, is that these people are going through the same things that you are.
Yeah.
It's just interpreted in their own way, and the beauty of music is that you can interpret a song one way and it can mean something completely different to another. And then sometimes the message is incredibly like what's the word I'm looking for? It's completely just like there and present in front of you, and then sometimes it's a little abstract, and you like take that emotional I guess meaning into that song, and you can make it your own, and that's what the beauty of music is. And that's and I feel like that's like, especially with you being a musician and you being a songwriter, I feel like that's definitely something that you're trying to go for with. Yeah.
One of my teachers, it's funny because I sang in front of my class the other day. I sang one of my originals, which it's been hard to put out originals right now because I'm trying to find like a producer to help me like really put out like originals that are not EDM music, you know, like I want to do like alternative pop or like, you know, some sort of indie genre. I'm not so sure. I don't want to put myself in a genre, but so I sang one of my originals in front of my class, and I was explaining what it's about, and my teacher goes, "That's not what it's about." And I was like, "Well, that's what it's about, like for me."
It's what it means to
and
me.
he goes, "Well, like the beauty of music, which this is 100% true. The beauty of music is that whatever you feel at the moment that you're listening to it is how you're going to interpret it. You know what I mean? So everyone has a different interpretation to music, and that's what art is also. And that's why art is so cool.
Interpreted by the eyes of the beholder.
Exactly, and that's why it's so
cool
cool, because even like, as everyone says, like one man's trash is another man's treasure. Like that's how it is, and also people. I mean, if it evokes a feeling of like, oh, this is trash, I'm so angry. Like that's still something that evoked a feeling, you know, and like
it still evokes some kind of emotion out of it, which is really
that's
cool.
the beauty of it.
But so when you're actually, let me go ahead and ask, who are your favorite artists currently, and what do you listen to now?
Okay, so I just finished, well, not finished because I still listen to Panic at the Disco all the time, but I've been going through like this Panic at the Disco stage for the past like, I want to say year and a half, because all of the Panic at the Disco songs tell a story. They're very sarcastic, and they just put you in the mind of like the story and like what's going on, and it's all based on their like true stories and their lives, and it's so fun listening to that music. So I've been really going through the Panic at the Disco stage. My entire life has been a Queen stage and a Beyonce stage and a Christina Aguilera stage and Lady Gaga. Oh my God, just how we were talking before.
Yeah.
Like, she's just incredible. I love everything she does. Like, from GUI, which is like a really annoying, like weird alien song, to Joanne or you know, like I just love all of her music. And now that she came out with like Shallow and Always Remember Us This Way, like, ooh, those are beautiful. And I just really appreciate her too. So those are, I want to say those are basically my favorite artists. I also love like Annie Lennox. I sang George Michael, you know, Mother's Pride, and I think we're going to play that live, so I love him too.
In fact, we can probably play that next if you want.
Yeah,
George Michael is another great artist. I can't tell you how many times I've like boogied my little butt to Faith by George Michael. I love that song so much, man. George Michael is a great musician. Not only that, but Careless Whisper, I can't tell you how many times I've listened to Careless Whisper.
I've actually not heard of that one. So.
You've never heard Careless Whisper?
No, don't get mad at me.
You've heard it before. I know you've heard it before.
I probably have heard of it. I'm really bad. This is weird, but I'm bad with music names unless I've read it 1,000 times, which is like good about like Spotify because you'll listen to a song and it just like puts the name up. But like before, when you used to listen on like CDs or like you hear things in a restaurant or something, all you would see was
track 1, track 2, track 3. You don't really see the name until
names,
you look on the case.
Exactly. So it's just like older songs that I like used to listen to or my dad would play for me in the car. Those I kind of don't know the names of at all. But if you put them on, I'm sure I will recognize them. You know what I mean?
I feel that. Well, next up, we're going to go ahead and play Dalit's cover of Mother's Pride by George Michael. And you are tuned in to WIUX Radio Bside. Thank you for tuning in.
Oh, she knows. She takes his hand and prays the child will understand. At the door, they watch the men go by in the clothes that daddy wore. Mother's pride, baby boy, his father's eyes. He's a soldier waiting for a war. Time will come, he'll hold a gun, his father's son. And as he grows, he hears the band. He takes a step from boy to man at the shore. She waves her son goodbye, like the man she did before. Mother's pride, crazy boy, his country's eyes. He's a soldier waving at the shore, and in her heart, the time has come to lose her son. And all the husbands, all the sons, all their lovers gone, they make no difference in the end. You'll hear the women say, your daddy died a hero. In the name of God and man, mother's pride. Just a boy, his lifeless eyes. He's a soldier now, forevermore. Time has come, he'll hold a gun till King